With me in studio, I've actually got quite a number of guests, and I think one of them is missing. So in order to allow him make time for that, I guess we'll just have those remarks by the president in regard to exceptional education standards.
Universities have a special role to play in nation building. They challenge our parochial concerns. They expose us to Kenyans of different origins and experience. They teach us to value our nationhood. But they cannot do that if they are held back by nepotism and tribalism.
So our education standards, and would like to ask the question again, that is our Twitter poll question: is education at the university level responsive to development needs in the country today? You can take part in our Twitter poll by voting whether or not you think it's responsive, or we could do better, or you don't think it's being responsive at all. So I'd like my guests to briefly introduce themselves in the interest of time, so we can be able to tackle this education standards, and also the fact that the Catholic University of East Africa has now come up with some new courses in regard to business and law. So thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with us. I'll start with you. Introduce yourself very briefly.
My name is Justus Mbai.
Yeah.
I am the Vice Chancellor of the Catholic University of Eastern Africa.
Right.
My name is Maurice Ajuang Owor.
Yes.
I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Law.
All right. Well, talk to us about the current standards of education at the university level. The president said we need exceptional educational standards if we are going to meet the demand in the market at the moment. Do you think we are trying to get there?
Well, the fact is that due to the expansion, the rapid expansion of higher education, there's been a lot of challenges. The higher education sector is seriously challenged in terms of personnel, qualified personnel, in terms of resources, in terms of programs that we offer, and the graduates that we produce. And as even employers have recently noted, a lot of universities do produce a lot of programs, lots of graduates, but very often they find that these graduates are not ready for the market. So in a way, the challenge is very huge. And the future for the universities is on quality. What kind of quality are we going to be producing? If we just keep on producing mass, in masses, and not paying attention to quality, then obviously very soon we'll pay for that.
All right. And just like you say, very soon we are going to pay for that. I think, well, the Catholic University is at least making an extra effort to make sure some of these demands are met. So you've come up with business and law courses as well. Tell us about that. Are these pioneer courses, or have they already been at the university?
There is, the effort to try and basically ensure that the courses which are offered also respond to the demand of times. And it is important to note that for the Faculty of Law at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, we are trying to ensure that our courses respond to our niche area. And our niche area is regional integration and East African community laws.
Right.
So therefore, we are making, we have, in the process of reviewing our curriculum, ensured that our courses, respond to regional integration issues.
Yes.
And basically to ensure that our graduates are able to, upon completion, are able to work and practice, within the region. Because I think, there is that need to ensure that faculties of law are able to produce graduates who are not only able to work and practice within their jurisdictions, but who have the skills and knowledge to comfortably operate and work regionally. And therefore, what we have done in reviewing our curriculums, we have ensured that, for example, if it is the law of business association, that we ensure that the students are able to acquire skills which enable them to appreciate the laws, the business laws, basically commercial laws, not only as they operate in Kenya, but as they are, as they operate within the region and as they are applicable regionally.
All right. Okay. So even as we go along the way, now we are shifting from the young people today, while applying for courses, they're moving away from applying for what they want, and they're now going for what the market needs. Do you think along the way we are going to get to a point where we are seeing markets oversaturated? Because I think I remember once upon a time, people did not want to become teachers, so some African countries dictated what people should do at the university. And now, the teaching profession is oversaturated. Some teachers don't even know what to do with their acquired education. So do you think we're going to get to that point at some, in the future?
I think the concern is not so much the numbers that we produce as to the quality of what we produce. A recent research showed that in terms of employability, there are only a few universities that everyone is seeking the products from those universities. And in Kenya, Catholic University was one of the 10 out of the 10 top universities that people are looking, to see the products. And as a matter of fact, it is one of the only 3 private universities out of the 34 private universities that we have. And what that says is it's not enough to produce a lawyer. We have to produce a lawyer who is a person, a man or woman of integrity, a person who is ethical, a person who respects truth, a person who is concerned about justice, a person, and think about it, in places like, in fields like business and politics, people just have come to think that these, definitely, corruption is the other name of politics, for example, or corruption is the other name of business. And we are telling them, no, that doesn't have to be the case. If you have properly trained people, people who have paid attention not only to the skills, not only academics, but also, to the holistic development, the character of the person, then we can do justice to these fields.
All right. So the question that we asked is education at the university level responsive to development needs in the country today. 10% are saying yes, the education at the university is responsive, and 39% are saying, we could be better, and 51% are saying no. The education at the university level is not responsive to development needs in the country today. So now that begs the question, are some of our courses a little bit colonial, that, we are doing courses that could be outdated some time to come?
Well, I think it is a fact that, life is dynamic, and therefore, even the courses offered must be dynamic. And they must respond to the challenges of our times. For example, at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa in the Faculty of Law, we have introduced information literacy. And this particular unit is, supposed to ensure that our students are able to use the reading materials in a much more comprehensive manner. They should be able to know where to access the reading materials, and that they should not only rely on traditional reading materials which are in hard copies, that they should be able to access e-resources, and they should know how to access those e-resources. So therefore, that is an example of innovation in ensuring that students are able to do a lot of independent research, okay, so that students don't depend on spoon feeding, that they are able to, go out on their own and, take advantage of technology.
Yeah.
And another example of maybe being innovative, and this is also in our law program, is that we have introduced critical communication skills and critical thinking. In other words, our society today needs lawyers or advocates who can, communicate eloquently and coherently, and who are able to have, to develop their thoughts in a logical manner.
Yeah.
And therefore, critical thinking is an important, is an important unit which reinforces the other units which are traditionally offered in law schools.
Let me just read out a few of the responses here. If our technical bodies like EBK don't want to accept market-driven courses, how valid does this question get? Yeah, that is Josiah Marori who is asking the question. And we also have one here coming in from Sir Gashina who is saying, or Isaac Gashina, who is saying, it's geared toward development, but the chances of doing so are very limited. And we also have one coming in from Dennis who is saying, the university education is not well responsive, too much theory and less practical lessons there. Daniel Karimi is saying, no, it's a waste of time and money. Yeah, and some people are saying, let's just not go to school. But let me read one more. Charles Agwanda is saying they failed when all middle colleges turned into universities. The support system was crashed. And we're also having one coming in from Dennis Kahiga, who is saying, universities could do better. He is from Chuka University. Yes, and those are some of your responses coming through. But now, finally, as we get to your last words, would now like to hear from you in regard to the future of education. There's a lot of talk going on about the education reforms, but how do we hope this is going to transform economic development in Kenya today?
Well, the first thing I think we have to change is our own mindset. The way we look at things.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people still believe in paper, and diplomas and intellectual academic things and so on. We really have to think in terms of application. Where are these things taking us? And that's why I like, for example, the new courses that they have introduced at the Catholic University in short courses. For example, they have one very interesting one, law for non-lawyers. Everybody needs to know something about the law.
That's true.
Even you need to understand law.
That's
As a vice chancellor, I need to understand law. Everyone needs to understand that. And that is now available. I don't have to take a whole degree to do that. I can, take that short course. And it helps me to move along because I now understand the basics of law. Another one has to do with the negotiation skills.
Right.
Everybody needs to know how to negotiate. This life is about negotiations. So if we all begin to think along useful causes this way, we definitely can change. We can change this. But most above all, the question of ethics, the question of virtue, the question of, integrity.
Yeah.
These are things that probably, some of the universities do not pay too much attention to, and yet these are really the core. In addition to everything else we teach, we have to teach character.
Right. All right. Can character be taught, really?
That's
like an inborn thing?
The philosopher asked the question, can you teach virtue?
Yes.
The question has never quite been answered, but in practice we can.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for making time to come talk to us. And, we've come to the end of the show, but thank you all so much for the feedback. I'm sure the Vice-Chancellor is going to take that feedback and do something about it. So we've come to the end of the show. Coming up next is Worldview. Thank you all for watching. For more business, log on to our website, ktnnews.com. My name is Joy Doreen Bira.